What's up, YouTube? It is Nick with Bonneville Motorworks, and we are back with another More Than Miles series where we get to interview people in our community and let them tell the stories of their cars. I really enjoy getting to do this. Last time we spoke with Grant and Judy and hear the story of their 1964 Porsche. Today we get to speak with Andrew, and he's going to share his build of his 1960 Dodge D100 pickup. And there's also one other thing that I want to highlight before we get into the interview. This is the first time that we are actually going to be featuring a giveaway from some of our merch. So if you hold on until the end of the video, we'll let you know at the end how to be able to enter to win possibly a new hat, new hoodie, or a shirt from our store. Looking forward to getting on with the story. So let's meet Andrew and let's meet his truck. All right, man. So introduce yourself and introduce us to your beautiful truck.
Yeah, my name is Andrew, and this is my 1960 Dodge D100. Her name is Sweet Anne Marie, and I've had her since I was born, basically.
Since you were born. That's
Yeah.
amazing. So 1960 D100 Dodge. Question for you on that. As far as being with you since you were born, I kind of want to hear a little bit more about that story. How did you come by this truck?
Yeah, well, like every good kid in Draper, my daddy bought it for me. This is actually my dad's kind of wood hauling truck. He found it at a car show, and it reminded him of his grandfather's truck. So he decided to purchase it and then just use it for tooling around, grabbing wood. And then when I was 14, he tossed me the keys and he said, do whatever you want to it. So
here she sits. So Anne Marie, where did that name come from? What's the inspiration behind that?
Oh man, you know, it's from a Grateful Dead song.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not going to sing it, but I'll tell you the lyrics are, I think, many sleepless nights thinking of Sweet Anne Marie. And that's kind of why it came to be, because many sleepless nights.
Many sleepless nights. All right. So sleepless nights with Anne Marie. I'm curious, was it in this condition when you first got it?
No. So it was, in fact, like a farm truck.
Okay.
Yep. Original flathead 6, 3 on the tree, a dusty green color, original I-beam front end. And then started tearing into it, and it kept getting progressively more and more hot rod-ish. Before the 408 that I have in there now, I had a 225 slant 6 that we ended up doing a build by Doug Dutra, who's big in the slant 6 Mopar community, trying to get a slant 6 to 300 horsepower. I had a 904 transmission in it, and then added the Mustang 2 front clip. But originally I was going to actually have it a little bit of a homage to the original colors. So it's going to be green with a white top, and then we're going to break the paint at the body line and everything. But
so kind of bow tie it?
Yeah, if you have a hot rod, it needs to be black. So
yeah, no, I tend to agree with that.
And then at the time I wanted flames, but I didn't want them to be super gaudy, kind of the traditional crab claw flames. And one of my shop managers at the time was really good at airbrushing, so he did the Dodge emblems and then these flames more on the realistic side, and I just kind of wanted them subtly here and then subtly on the hood.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So this truck has come a long way from the old kind of patina green that you had it as originally. How long has it taken you from the time that you started on this truck to where you're at now in this build process?
Uh, about 20 years
Okay.
to where it sits. And it's, it's a hot rod. It's still not done.
It'll never be done.
It'll never be done.
But as far as the work in progress, do you feel happy with where you're at with it? Do you enjoy taking it out, driving it, showing it?
Yeah, oh, for sure. I think it's, to say I'm happy with it is strong, because then I might be contemplating just leaving it as it is. But like right now in the garage, I actually have Smoothie Steelies sitting in the garage, so that's next. I just did the headlights not too long ago with those cool halo rings. Last year's when I finished, but 2 years ago I started the project. We pulled the slant 6 out, we pulled the 904 out, and then I dropped in the Blueprint 408, and then it's butted up against an A833 4-speed with the...
So got rid of the 3 on the tree and transitioned for a little bit more...
When we first did the 904, we got rid of the 3 on the tree just to make it an automatic. And that was fun. I had a big old tall low car shifter on it, so it looked pretty cool. But there's just something about driving a rowdy engine with a manual behind it that I just needed that feel. So it's achieved the feel. So
I'm glad to hear that. I completely agree. I'm a big fan of saving the manuals, as it were. So this thing is not stock by any stretch of the imagination. Lots of modifications, lots of updates. You've hinted at a few of them, but just take us from top to bottom. What all have you done to this truck?
Yeah, so most recently I added these cool halo headlights. They're actually from Bang & Headlights, located in Australia. Obviously the bumper is not stock. This is a bumper that we found that's fully aluminum. The original bumper was a massive farm truck style bumper, so that made it a little bit heavy. In the front we have the Mustang 2 front clip, fully boxed frame. And then of course we did the upgraded discs to the front. These wheels are going to be changed out, but this was an upgraded wheel, obviously. We did the Aeromotive fuel lines all the way back to the in-tank Aeromotive system that pushes a lot more PSI up to the carburetor. Did 3-inch exhaust. It's actually coupled with the Black Widow Angry Housewife muffler. We have a 8 3/4 rear end, and let's see, I think it was 6 months ago I swapped out for a 355, and it has the Eaton True Track, so both tires spin, and then going around a corner one will brake. Buick taillights, because you can't find parts for a Dodge. We fully roll pan the bottom here. The brand new blonde oak bed, and when I say brand new, I mean that's a long time ago.
Okay.
We 4-linked the rear, and then of course the entire thing's on Fat Man Fabrication air ride suspension. I believe it's Bridgestone air ride. Chopped the top 4 inches, shaved the door handles, so now it's on poppers. Did a custom inlay for mahogany on the dash. Hearst shifter. It actually has heated seats, so a little benefit there. The I Did It steering wheel. We did a Mustang fuel tank in the rear as well of the bed. More modern seats in there, making it a little bit more comfortable to drive than that old vinyl big bench. Here, I'll take you under the hood as well.
Awesome.
So this is the Blueprint engine.
Oh, that's clean.
The neat part about Blueprint is they take an original LA small block. So this has started its life as a 360 LA small block, and then they completely tear it down and rebuild it. And then they actually bench test it. So once they bench test it, they'll give you the sheet for it. On their website, it's about 465 horsepower and 494 foot-pounds of torque. My bench test was actually 505 horsepower and about 525 foot-pounds of torque. I don't know if I just schmoozed him right when I talked to him on the phone, but
oh, you
made
did
it
something
nice.
right. No, that's absolutely fantastic. So you're pushing over 500 horses on this thing right now?
Yeah, so, you know, full Edelbrock aluminum heads. I got the short headers, the short tuned headers. You can see my aeromotive system is right down here. So when I actually had the Slant 6 in it, it had a throttle body injection on it.
Okay.
And it was nice. I mean, it started up every single time. Not a whole lot of issues, but there's a lot of electronics going on in the car. So anytime the electrical system would kind of dip in voltage, the TBI system would kind of fritz a little bit. So I just went back to old school, got the 750 Holley double pumper on there.
Just kind of stayed classic with it.
Yeah, I wanted something that I would know how to work on and not need to get a laptop out.
Not need a computer
fix
to
anything.
actually manage the fuel system. Now, that's great. Well, incredibly clean, absolutely beautiful and clean show car here. Thanks for taking us through a breakdown on this car. You have done some incredible work. I have to know, what is your favorite detail on your truck? Take us to it, point it out. What is your favorite detail on this truck?
That's difficult. I don't.
We can even give you a top 3.
Okay, so top 3, I would say block clearance to firewall over here. Just because that was a loose guess and it worked out.
Okay. Yeah, that's tight. So there's one.
There's one. Dang, that's a tough one. I would say the second detail would be adding the 4-speed. I wanted a rowdy truck, and I feel like the manual gives it that rowdy feel. And then I would say the third, I think it's the bed out of all of it.
Just that clean wood.
Well, and it was my first time sanding wood in general. It was my first time ever doing any sort of woodwork. And I still remember being in my dad's garage and sanding the boards. And he came out, he's like, "What are you doing?" And I was sanding it like this all the way down.
Oh, no,
and with
you were
wood,
wax on, wax off.
With wood, you have to go with the grain. So
yep.
The good news was it was the underside. But yeah, it's just a fun learning experience. And that's probably the one thing this truck has given me is just dozens of learning experiences, and keeps giving me is dozens of learning experience. It's not easy, but it's super rewarding when you make 12 mistakes and then all of a sudden get it right.
Absolutely. That's what the classic cars are for. They're here to learn. They're here to help you kind of build your own skills and really gain confidence.
Yeah, I don't know how much confidence I have though still.
You've had this truck for several years, and obviously you've taken it to shows. When I met you the first time, this thing was parked at a Cars and Coffee down at the eBay Motors spot down in Bluffdale, and immediately caught my attention. What do you think is the most fun reaction that you've had anyone have to this truck when they see it for the first time?
I know that this probably goes against every classic car owner on the existence of the planet, because I grew up going to classic car shows. I love when little kids like leave their handprints. I have 2 little kids, not to sound creepy.
It is not creepy.
But I love when, I built this truck for my inner child. So when I see actual children get so excited to see it, like, I've heard, "Oh, Dad, that's a Hot Wheel," and I love that truck, and they'll come up and they'll kind of touch it. I get the purpose of not wanting people to touch your paint. I get upset when adults touch my paint, but there's something magical about a kid getting so excited about a fast and loud truck and, coming up and wanting to actually physically touch it. So
Oh, 100%.
I always say the sticky little handprints I can wipe those off really easy. And that's probably the biggest compliment that I've ever had at a show, is when the kids get excited about the truck.
I love that. Absolutely love that. Do you find that there is a pretty good scene for classics and for hot rods here in Utah?
No. It's, and this is gonna again be kind of, I guess, controversial, but when I grew up here in Draper, and I felt like there was always, like a Larry H. Miller car show, or, a downtown car show, or, something somewhere where it was a classic car show. And it was neat to walk around and kind of get everybody's story on how they built the car and why they built the car, or how long it's been in their family. And now I feel like there's a lot of newer scene coming up and not a lot of the older scene, which is not bad. I mean, I saw a Toyota MR2 with I think it's a Honda B Series motor in it, and a huge turbo. And I thought, man, that is the coolest car at this car show, because you could tell that this guy built it himself.
Oh, absolutely.
There's always going to be the guy who has the money to spend on a brand new Porsche, GTR, RS or whatever. Or, there's always going to be the guy in the New Balances with the one-off burgundy C5. But the classic car scene, I feel, hasn't really grown here in Salt Lake. But I know that there's plenty of people with classic cars.
Yeah. No, I kind of feel the same thing. I've always been a classic car owner. I've built, sold, bought probably half a dozen over the course of my time. Currently working on a 1968 MG Midget that you can actually see here on the channel once in a while. But first Cars and Coffee that I went down to, put a video up of that here a couple weeks ago. The oldest thing that I saw there was your pickup.
It's
and the vast majority of everything beyond that was Lamborghinis and Porsches, and it's a very supercar heavy and very modified heavy market here. It is,
and even if you go to like the Cars and Curry, same thing. Very more on the heavily modified side and on the newer cars. Definitely not anything wrong with that scene. I think that
not at all.
Getting the younger generation into cars, if that means instead of them going out and finding a classic and restoring it, they're getting an Infinity and adding turbos to the 2JZ or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it's cool, but it does make me feel a little bit lonely sometimes being at those car shows. I'll just kind of like look around, and it's just different. The
dynamic is a little different.
The dynamic is I would say a lot different.
Yeah.
There's a lot that I've done to this truck, like physically altered on this truck, that you wouldn't go and get a 2016 Ford Focus RS and chop the top, right?
Yeah.
You do some cob tuning and it's done.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden you have 400 horsepower in a all-wheel drive Focus.
Yep.
Like that's neat, but it's not literally tearing something apart and rebuilding it and making it different. So I think the scene here in Salt Lake is, you got to find it.
Yeah.
Like I've seen a couple right up the street here is the Garage Grill. And every once in a while they'll throw a classic car, and it's like out of the woodwork. Here's a whole bunch of people, but even then I feel out of place. Because, I mean, I'm not the youngest guy, but I definitely feel super young at those car shows.
Yeah. No, and that, for me personally, is part of what Bonneville Motor Works is intended to start doing. Is I really want to build a community, and I want to start bringing together people that are focused on classics and vintage and our love for those cars.
Yeah.
As far as taking the time here with us today to share your story and to share your truck story, couldn't be more grateful.
Thank you.
I genuinely appreciate you taking the time bringing Anne-Marie out. I know it's a little bit windy, but it's genuinely been a pleasure getting to know you in the truck. To close things out, I have a couple more questions for you, just very quickly. Number one, what's next for Anne-Marie? You mentioned the Steelies, but as far as what your dream vision is for this truck, where is she headed next?
Oh, well, the Steelies for sure. Eventually, I'll drop that 833 out, and I'll put something a little bit more modern, like a Tremec, something like that. And then after that, I think she's gonna be close. I don't want to, if I say it out loud, my wife will take that and be like, "You're done." So, I have a project for the bed of this.
Okay.
That I'm excited. I'm going to unveil it later, but
Sounds good.
Another project I'm working on and spending my money on. So my wife's not super stoked about that.
All good. And the last question I've got for you, it was one of the questions that I actually enjoyed the most during my last interview. Personally, I feel that cars have their own story. It's not all about us. It's not about everything that's happened to the truck while we've been driving it. This truck's been a part of your family now for a very long time. If Anne-Marie could talk, what would she say about her journey? How do you think she would feel about everything that's happened, the changes, the times that you guys have had together?
I feel like if Anne-Marie could talk, she would be screaming, "Just kill me!" Yeah, I mean, it's such an interesting build because it's so many parts and pieces that should not go together that are together. So I think it's a hodgepodge, and I don't think she'd scream "kill me," but I think she'd want me to fix some stuff pretty drastically, put her back to stock maybe. I don't know.
You don't think she's adapted well to the life that you've put her towards?
I think
she looks great.
I think she was excited about the new motor, and then found out that meant the back of her is going to spin out a lot more.
Touche. Well, genuinely appreciate your time today. Thanks for sharing your story, and really looking forward to see what you do on the bed.
Yeah,
that's going to have to be a follow-up later on.
Yeah, it's getting there right now, but it'll be. I'm planning on a car show, just popping it in the bed and pulling up. So it's a motorcycle, though. I can share that.
Sounds good. Well, really excited to see that when it comes around, and thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
That's a wrap on our next episode of More Than Miles, where we're getting out in the community and I'm getting to interview people about their cars and their stories. These are the things that I want to be bringing to the channel and building up a network of people that are like-minded, love vintage cars, and want to share their stories with the world. Thank you so much for joining on this episode. And as promised at the beginning, we are doing the very first giveaway for Bonneville Motor Works. Our merchandise is available at BonnevilleMotorworks.com and would be a huge support to the channel, even if you don't win, to be able to go and find something awesome there. The designs that I'm putting together are ones that are inspired by vintage cars, and I want them to be something that are going to be fun to wear and be out in public and have more of a modern take than what you would see on just a classic car show tee. So check out the stuff at our store. For today's giveaway, I'm doing a C1 Corvette t-shirt. You may recognize it from our first classic car review that we did a few weeks back. But the winner of this shirt, I'll be reaching out to you guys at the end of this next week once the giveaway period is done. And one winner will be selected, and I'll announce that on the next video. To enter for the giveaway for this shirt, I need you to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and leave a comment below. What was your favorite thing about Sweet Anne-Marie? Absolutely beautiful truck. Really enjoyed the opportunity to meet with Andrew. And Really can't wait to get more of these under my belt and see some other really cool cars. Thanks for joining. Thanks for entering the giveaway. And if you want more awesome merch like I've got here, please feel free to join over at BonnevilleMotorworks.com and get something for yourself. I'll see you on the next episode. Have a wonderful day.